Hi everyone, this is Doxa. It's my online alias, not my real name. But yeah, this is my first Flosstube video. I've made a lot of booktube videos, and I like to review books. I do a lot of book stuff. But I haven't really been reading as much as I used to. I'm also kind of sporadic in my updates with the channel. I had like a year where I didn't post anything, and then I started to, and I stopped, and I'm trying really hard to be consistent again. But I find that, when it comes to books, I'm just not reading at a fast enough pace anymore. I only read, I used to read about um, 2 to 3 books a week, and now it's only like 2 to 3 books a month. So went down dramatically. I've just had so many hobbies and other things that I'm into, and I think it's honestly a good thing. Like I'm spreading out more, and I still read. I read during my lunch, which is an hour long, so I get a little less than that to read, and it's working out fine. But I wanted to expand my channel and start doing other things. So the Flosstube. I recently got into cross stitching, and I've been having a blast with it. It is so much fun, and it's really changed my life. I've also gotten into other hobbies, like I'm drawing and painting and doing all these other things too, which I might do videos on that stuff too at some point. I don't know if ArtTube's a thing, but we can do that, But this video is going to be about cross stitching. So yeah, I started cross stitching not too long ago. I think it was earlier this year. It was like probably around April. I decided to cross stitch for my mom. Now, the reason I kind of decided to start cross stitching is my mom used to cross stitch a lot when I was a little kid, and like before she had me and after she had me, and when I was a little kid, she used to cross stitch all the time. Like she was a avid stitcher, and then she just fell out of habit with it. And I don't know, I just suddenly got this urge to do it, and I went ahead and I bought a kit, a dimensions kit, and I got started, and I made one for my mom for Mother's Day. I did not finish it in time because it took me forever. Sorry, foster dog bothering the cat. And yeah, I've been absolutely loving it. I love cross stitch because it's like, it's not that hard. Like, I mean, this isn't to say that cross stitch is easy. There's a lot of thought involved, preparation, counting, being aware, that, there's a lot of that involved, but the actual act is pretty simple, and it doesn't take a ton of talent to be good at it, and I don't know, like, I hope that I'm not insulting other, people who are into cross stitch by saying that. It's an enjoyable but not too difficult hobby, so I've been getting really into it. And anyway, so because I haven't been cross stitching for long, I don't have a ton. I'm still like a beginner, and I don't have a ton of finished projects at this point. Today I plan on showing you guys all the things I finished, showing you the thing that I'm working on right now, and that's probably going to be about it. I think that'll be good for one video. I don't want to make it too long. So yeah, going to show you guys that stuff, and yeah, I am a beginner, obviously, so I'm not that good. I'm not working on anything intense, and right now my goal is, because Christmas is coming up, it's right around the corner. I mean, I know this is late October, but still, I mean, let's be realistic here. November, December, I want to get as many quick stitches done as possible as presents for Christmas. So I'm not working on anything more advanced at this point. At some point I would like to, and I want to start getting into more what I would consider intermediate pieces. So if anybody has any recommendations of like what you would consider an intermediate cross stitch piece, just let me know. I'm not ready for anything advanced. Like Heaven and Earth designs, they totally intimidate me. I think they're going to be a little too much for me at this point. I think an intermediate kind of a thing. I think Satsuma Street. I saw some of those. That looks about like what I was thinking. So, but anyone just let me know a recommendation. I'd love to check stuff out. So anyway, let's talk about my finished objects. So the cross stitch for my mom has it. I will display a picture of it either in front of my face or like I might have to stop the video. I haven't tried that in iMovie yet. And it's basically a dimensions kit with 2 hummingbirds and 2 flowers, and it's cute. Had a lot of fun for my first cross stitch. It wasn't that hard. I went through, it took a long time. I actually technically messed up the back stitching in one spot. There's one incorrect stitch in there in the back stitching, but really you can't tell in the final project. It wasn't a big deal, so I did tell my mom about it, but she loved it, by the way. She was like super happy that I did it, and yeah, it was a blast, and yeah, I was just like, this is a great new way to start things. So I'll show you my second finished one. I have it in a baggie because I'm trying to keep it all pristine. I did this one for my grandmother, my mom's mom. It's for Christmas, so I haven't given it to her yet, which is why I still have it. This is a couple of poppies, another dimensions kit. I'm not going hardcore yet. And I like the kits because you have all the stuff right there. I have a feeling people probably aren't as into kits, and I totally respect that. But I thought it would be a good place to start. I do have flosses and whatnot. I'll get into that probably in my next video, but for right now, we'll talk about this one. So this one took me a long time. I did a lot of it during long car rides with my husband because during the summer we did a few road trips. And I feel like it took me like a couple of months. It took forever. This is the hardest cross stitch I've done so far because like the different colors and the poppies was honestly pretty difficult. I still had a lot of fun doing it. I messed up one section in here and I had to cut out a few rows, but it went fine. I got really lucky. It wasn't a big deal. It was just like I managed to do it. I thought I'd screwed up worse and I was going to work around it, but then I realized I really couldn't. And then it turned out it was 3 really short rows that were messed up. It was totally worth fixing. Wasn't a big deal. Yay. The only thing I regret is that when I was stitching this, if there were a few colors on one side of a row and then a few over here and it lined up, I would go ahead and I would stitch the whole row, even though there was a big gap. I would not do that now, and the reason is it made the centers of the flowers, which I had already done, pop out more. It pushes them out. This isn't a big deal. Like, I'm not upset about it, I'm not freaking out about it, but I know that for the future, if it's separated quite a bit, I'm just going to do one part and then the other. I'm not going to try to connect, I don't try to connect big rows anymore. I stopped doing that now. But yeah, I really liked it. It wasn't too difficult, fortunately. It just took a long time because it was a lot of stitches. When I was working on it, like I was in the car and I was working on the blue and it was like I'd only finished a few rows of it and I was like telling my husband, I'm like, this takes so long, and he just started laughing at me. He was like, do you see how many little stitches are in there? It was kind of sweet of him, actually. So anyway, for my Grammy, I hope she likes it. I'm gonna just give it to her like this. I hope, you know, that's essentially how the kit was meant to be. So yeah, I'll put that back away because it's trying to keep it nice and clean and pristine for her. The next one, okay. This is actually technically not a cross stitch. It's a needle point, and it's a stamped needle point. I got this one and did it for my other Grammy, my dad's mom. This one, I am not going to buy any more stamped needlepoint kits because I'm not into the whole stamped thing. I didn't really dig that. Like, it ended up working out fine, and I like how it came out. It looks nice. It was fun still, but it's totally not my thing. I do have another stamped needlepoint kit, so at some point I'm going to do that, but then I'm not going to buy any more of those. I'm not into it. But anyway, I'll show you what it actually is now. And this one is zinnias, and I have it in a frame, and yeah, it's really pretty. I like how it came out, but I just wasn't as into that whole needlepoint thing. Like, the stamped part was what I really didn't like. I think if it wasn't stamped, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. It just took a lot of the fun out. there's essentially only one kind of stitch. I mean, it said that there's two kinds of stitches, but like realistically, it's all the same. It's like a half cross stitch, essentially. It's not what they called it, but anyway, I tried putting it in a hoop originally, and it crushed a few of the stitches, and they don't look as good, like some of the ones up here. But really, it's not very noticeable. The other thing I did that was naughty is you're supposed to, this is 6 strands when you stitch this, instead of just 2 strands like with the cross stitches I've done so far. I know you can do only 1 strand, you know, different stitching things require a different amount of strands. This one required all 6. And you're supposed to separate them all individually and then put them together and stitch with them. I did not do that. I just cut them straight out and stitched with them. As a result, that does make the stitches a little sloppier, but it's not, I mean, it really doesn't look bad. I'm not too upset about it. I don't really care. Like, I just don't think it was worth it because they were hard to separate. They don't separate nice like the cross stitch floss. They separate just super easy. You just pull one from the rest. Like you could just, whoop, no big deal. This does not separate. Like I kept getting it tangled, so I was like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I got this frame from 123 Stitch. I have one thing to say about it. They just provide you with a frame. There's no glass, there's no backing. It's just a frame. And that's not at all what I was expecting. I was just like, okay, it's just a frame. I'd already purchased it. I wasn't going to return it. I just felt kind of stupid because, like, I'm guessing lots of people realize this, but I didn't. Anyway, I went ahead and put this on poster board and I stitched the back of it up. It looks like shit. There you go. And I just popped it in there. I might make like a little backing for it, but I'm not going to bother with glass on this one. Now, I actually think glass is a good idea, and I do think that in the future I will be doing glass. But I also would love to hear different people's opinions on whether you should put glass, like when you frame, you should do glass for cross stitch or not. I think it would be nice in terms of the dust. I think that would be a good idea, keeping it clean. But it also is nice to kind of see the texture of all the stitches and yeah, so I'd love to hear opinions on that. But anyway, had fun and enjoyed it, even though it really wasn't what I'm into. Not doing a stamped kit again. And yeah, I'll show you my next one. So the next one, I saw this on someone else's video. I forget who it is because I've done some exploring on Flosstube videos, but I haven't done a lot of subscribing quite yet. So, but I got like, I just thought that this was perfect for my friend Paul. Now, Paul, if you happen to be watching this video, please stop. I want this to be a surprise, my Christmas present for Paul. And it's the Golden Girls. It says, thank you for being a friend. And it's super freaking cute. And telling you some stories about this. This is from Cloud's Factory. So I was an idiot, and you'll notice I don't have a lot of extra Ada going on here. What you thinking, Doxa? So I'll tell you the story of that. So originally I cut way too small a piece because I was going based off of Cloud's Factory how big the piece would be. At first I was like, why would you tell me? It's not their fault. I was not being smart about how big to cut the cloth. No big deal. I mean, Ada cloth's not that expensive. It's not a big deal. I kept the little piece. I might use it for something simple like an ornament, but if I throw it out, It's not the end of the world. Anyway, so I cut a new piece, but I really, as you can see, horizontally I think we're fine, but vertically I don't have a lot of space to work with, which again is my fault. Just so you guys are, not worried about me. I did finally find a good stitch, a fabric size calculator. Anyway, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to make this work. I don't have a frame for it yet. I'm either going to get it custom framed or I'm going to make a frame myself. My husband has a woodworking shop and is really enthusiastic about getting me to learn how to do that. He's enthusiastic about getting me to use the shop. I don't know if making frames is really what I want to do, because then we get into the whole problem of like how am I gonna sorry, I'm laughing at myself because like how am I gonna like I have to do the glass, you know, it's just, it seems like way too much work for me. I'd kind of rather just pay somebody to do a custom frame. We'll see what happens. I'm going to try to make frames, but I'm going to have to make a cutoff date so I can make sure I can get custom framing done in time. But anyway, I've cleaned the piece, but I haven't ironed it yet. I plan on doing that this weekend and mounting it with my poster board, like I did with the zinnias. Essentially, it's going to be kind of hard because I didn't leave myself a lot of space, but I think I'm going to be able to make it work. I don't think it's the end of the world. I think at worst, if I can't properly get it pinned back, I might be able to still work with that. I think it'll be okay. But anyway, I can't wait to give it to him. I hope he likes it. I mean, it was a nice quick stitch. I was surprised how fast I got through it. It was also my first 2 French knots, which came out not bad. I was very excited about it. So, had a lot of fun doing that. Hoop. Next finished piece. WIP. All right. I still need to. This one is one for my mom for Christmas / her birthday. My mom's birthday is Christmas Eve, so. All right. So this one. There we go. Sorry. To everything there is a season, and it's just super cute. It's got a tulip and a butterfly and a leaf and a snowflake. It's kind of hard to tell in the snowflake. There's some white. I should have done a darker cloth. Should have done a darker even weave for this one. But that's okay. Yeah, because you can't really see the white in the snowflake very well. But anyway, it's super cute. The only thing... Anyway, I did this one for my mom. It was a quick stitch. I did it in 6 days. I was like, holy crap, I've never stitched that fast before. But I had a lot of fun doing it. It was great moving so fast through it. And as you can see, a proper amount of fabric on each side. I do learn. This is my first stitching on even weave, which I thought would be way more difficult, but it really wasn't that bad. I did have a few problems. I had to redo a couple of stitches in the snowflake. There we go, snowflake, which sucked. But overall, I managed to catch most of my stakes pretty quick, and I only had to rip out like 2 stitches. It wasn't a big deal. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I haven't washed it or anything yet. I do plan on washing it, ironing it, mounting it on poster board. The only thing I don't like about it is there's 3 French knots at the end here, and I think over there, it's like an ellipsis, and they came out kind of crappy. Like it starts with a big, medium, and large. That was not intentional. I didn't do a very good job on that. But you know, and it was so funny because I kept looking at it and going, you know, don't really need the French knots in there. I don't really need them. But I couldn't not put them in there, like, because it was in the chart, and I didn't have it in me to, like, not have the stitches. I couldn't not do it. I had to do it. So, completionist, I guess. I got it from this, just cross stitch. It's the September-October 1988 edition. I got this from my mom. She gave me a bunch of stitchy stuff, which I'll talk about in my next video. But for right now, I just thought people might want to know where I got the chart from. Okay, so I have one thing left, and it's my WIP. I just started it. I've only worked on it for one day. I didn't work on it for the past 2 days. I had a concert, and then obviously I didn't work on it concert day. And then I was super tired, and I just could not handle anything yesterday. I had to sleep because I've been concerting. So I have it like in a little Ziploc baggie. This is again for my husband. My husband's birthday is December 2nd, and oh, I didn't actually do anyone for my husband yet. Wait, his birthday's December 2nd. I'm hoping to get this done for his birthday. I did it on a really sparkly Aida. It's like this silver sparkle Aida. It's really pretty. I know that seems kind of silly, but I thought it would look nice on the sparkly Aida. I kept asking him, do you want it on sparkle Aida or not? He wouldn't make a decision, so I made it for him. I didn't actually tell him or show him what I'm doing. That was the only choice I gave him. Oh, it's a giant piece of fabric, my God. So I'm just doing a border so far. That's all I've done. This border's going to continue around. Obviously, it's kind of the same thing all the way around. And then it is, you can just see what I've done. Not a whole lot. And it's going to have a very inspirational quote. He is a Big Lebowski fan, and so it's going to say, that's just like your opinion, man. He loves that quote. So I think that'll be really fun. I got it off of Etsy. I will look up who it was and link it. Oh, foster dog. She might have to go out. BRB. Sorry about that. I have a foster dog who has heartworm. She was on prednisone. And when she has to go, you need to like run or she's going to pee on the floor. She hasn't had an accident in quite a while now. She's on way less prednisone, so thank goodness. But it's like, I hear that bark and I'm like, go. So anyway, yeah, that's basically mostly what I wanted to say. Anyway, I will link the person whose Etsy shop I got that from, in case anyone's curious. So yeah, that's what I finished in my WIP. Basically, I think that'll be it for this video. Next time I'm going to show you guys, I'll give you more progress on that. I'm probably going to do like every other week, I'm thinking, is about when I'll update. So anyway, I will, in the next video, show you where I've gotten to on that project, and also show you guys essentially my stash. I don't have much of one at this point. I'm a beginning stitcher, so it's mostly just some kits that I've purchased and stuff like that, and I guess I'll show you guys my flosses. Not much point, but yeah. Anyway, hope you're all doing well, and nice to meet you, Stitchers, and if you're a booktuber who watched this, thank you. You're kind of awesome. All right. Not just kind of, you're super awesome. Anyway, hope you're all doing well.